is your host with the most, the gorgeous goat, the Georgia Peach herself. We're gonna get in here. We're gonna listen to all 12 signs with my boy Esoteric Sky. Y'all go over, y'all subscribe to him if y'all like the way he the readings. Show him some love, all right? If y'all like the way I present content, y'all show me some love. Now we're gonna get in there, all right?
Hi Capricorns, and welcome to your April 2023 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming up to talk to you about your month ahead. A relieving energy coming up for you all, which I'm very excited to be talking about. Of course, we have the first month of Pluto being out of your sign, like the first full month of it. What a change that is going to be for you all. Since 2008, you have had it in your sign. In this reading, I'm going to talk quite a bit about that with intuitive messages, a week-to-week tarot forecast, and an extended reading on Patreon, which will be linked below. And also, Capricorns, I hope that you will subscribe to this channel if you're new and turn on those bell notifications. And yeah, without further ado, let's talk about Capricorn intuitively in April. This is, I'm kind of giving you guys a thumbs up, like things are fine. I feel like you have come through a battle or come through some type of storm of experience, and now you get a nice break until about June, where you have the very last segment of Pluto in Capricorn as it will retrograde back and be there until I believe November of 2023, when for the very last time it will leave Capricorn and be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. So you get the first foreshadowing of the new world that you can begin to create in your life in April. I'm seeing a lot of Capricorns finding the perfect house for them, the perfect plot of land, the perfect new life coming in. I'm definitely seeing immigration for some Capricorns. I'm seeing whether or not you're crossing borders, some type of immigration is happening in your life. There is some type of crossing point, and if not now, definitely by like December of this year when we get the final movement of Pluto into Aquarius, I feel that you are crossing some type of major border spiritually or physically in your life. So I want to really hold space and revere that process for you all, because in the human lifespan, we only get to experience so many crossings of Pluto across signs. Of course, it takes Pluto 248 years to go around the sun. So most humans only experience like a few signs of Pluto in their lifetime. So it's even rarer, of course, to have Pluto in your sign, as not everybody experiences Pluto in their sign in their lifetime. So there's something like that happening to you, or that has happened to you over these last 15 years, where it's like once in a lifetime chances. And even at this time, I think in April of 2023, there might be something of a once in a lifetime chance. And I think that April is just going to be a really good month for getting anything that you can comfortable and well in your life, having relief, having no longer to put yourself through some kind of turmoil. There will be a turning point, I think, also in May of 2023. I've forecasted that for Scorpio as well, as Scorpio is ruled by the planet Pluto. So you and Scorpio both are probably the most strongly impacted signs by this change. Though, of course, the entire zodiac is always going to be impacted by a change in Pluto's sign. But you and Scorpio have a major turning point in May of 2023. And again, in the timeline of like December to February, December 2023 to February 2024, major paradigm shifts coming in during this next year. What a wild timeline we're in for the signs of Scorpio and Capricorn. But bringing this back down to April a little bit, Capricorn, what you can do is you can start exploring a little bit. It's not bad for experimentation, like thinking about, life and about how short life can be and how long life can be as well, and the things that we actually want to experience and the wholesome purposes that life is about, the changes in focus. What change in focus do you have? What does that mean to you in April of 2023? Having a change in focus, having a change in tone, having some type of different scope of responsibility as well. It could be more or less responsibility. In fact, for a lot of Capricorns, I'm feeling less responsibility, as something just is not as burdened or as high octane or as dire as it was for the last 15 years. Some of you may have generated passive income by now. Some of you might have like retirement coming during this time if you're of a certain age. And then also if you're younger, what I feel like this means is more freedom and more room to breathing room, more exhaling. I've talked about how Pluto in Aquarius is more about the exhale instead of the inhale. And that's definitely good to be thinking about here in April. How can I allow things to leave? How can I exhale some of these negative toxins? How can I out or purge some of this out, rather than what can I take in, what can I consume, what can I breathe in, which is what Pluto in Capricorn was about, right? As like a yin feminine sign, Pluto in Capricorn is about the power associated with taking in, with passively receiving, with inhaling. Pluto in Aquarius, on the other hand, is about the power of exhaling or letting go or releasing. So yes, for you Capricorn, I think that's why this is such a relieving period of time, because it's like the first feeling of that relief, or that for like letting out that corset, or letting out that, or like letting the seams out a little bit, have more space. I'm also seeing some of you with bigger houses, higher ceilings, more land, more of a bubble. Okay, so whereas you might have been really condensed in a small apartment or something, having to live side by side with hundreds of other people, now I feel you to have much more wingspan, or to be moving towards that. So whatever you can do in the month of April to support this idea of like having more breathing room, taking more breath into the lungs, taking more time. Also, maybe it's more vacation days. Maybe it's not working overtime anymore. Maybe it's really knowing how much room you have in certain situations. Are you using and spending your time wisely? Also, making room just for spontaneity with Pluto and Aquarius is welcome, as I do feel that a lot of Pluto and Aquarius channels through spontaneous choices and through allowing for creativity and unexpected situations. As of course, Aquarius is ruled by the sun, by the planet of Uranus, which deals with the unexpected and the unanticipated aspects of life. So that's where a lot of the power is with this transit. And it might take quite an adjustment, right, for being used to Pluto and Capricorn, Pluto and Saturn sign. And you guys are at the epicenter of that, of this change process that we're having. So I think that you just need to welcome yourself into an easier time, and let yourself breathe a little bit more, and reduce what you can to allow for that. So let's talk about your week-to-week Capricorns. In the first week of April, you have the Page of Cups reversed, rooted down by the Moon card. So, okay, you can see things in a much more realistic way now. I feel that there's been escapism, and there are other placements that we have right now, like Neptune and Pisces, Saturn and Pisces, that are kind of like, very much like the Moon card, which is kind of like rose-colored glasses, or using escapist mechanisms like substance or media to escape from the reality. You get a new view. So maybe some of you are actually like maybe really enjoying art, culture, media, or something that helps you to see the world in a different way. There are ways that that can function healthily. But with the Page of Cups reversed, it's saying that there's something that has gone unsaid, or there's some kind of like truth, or like you haven't been able to wear your heart on your sleeve. Maybe now you can wear your heart on your sleeve, and this can basically change the tone of your reality, almost like a quantum kind of shift, just by like your honesty, or by being like the most solid, honest person in the room. One superpower that Capricorn has, and Scorpio, is like being able to level up through honesty or transparency. Like even if people don't support you, even if people don't support your truth, it like still helps, because it's like good to be known to be honest. It's almost like in this new paradigm that we're moving into, people would rather have someone be honest about who they are or what they're doing, and then like kind of be against that, as opposed to somebody faking it, or somebody like just trying to fit in, or somebody just trying to put on a front to be accepted. That's going to get really prevalent with Pluto and Aquarius. Like people, I don't know, it's like a good example of it is like, okay, so I wear the necklace that has the like religious symbol on it, and then I like fit in with that group, but I don't actually practice the doctrines. Okay, so things like that, where we have these kind of like false fronts, or you know, trying to indicate something about identity that maybe is not supported at a deeper level, I think is something that you're facing in the first week. Like, what are you fronting? Like, what are you wearing? What does it mean? What is the deeper meaning of some of the symbols that you're allowing in your life? As you might be having like, it's not like a rebranding, that's too much of an economic consideration, but maybe it's a evolution of identity or an evolution of who you are happening. And you might see that some of the symbols that you're wearing may support or may not support who you really are. So I don't know, maybe this is a contentious issue. Maybe this is a contentious issue, but like, for example, I don't know, certain like fad atheist groups, like using like devil imagery or symbolism because it's like a counterculture and not because it has anything to do with atheism. Things like that are going to start getting weird with Saturn and Pisces. Okay, so like mixed up symbolic gestures, like people who don't, revere the devil but have that archetype in their presence as like a symbol of counter as compared to like anything real. It's just a random example, but I would think about that during the summer. Anything regarding that, like fad cultures and sort of, I suppose, the abuse of symbolism that become more of like a plastic representation of things as opposed to like a real symbol, because I think people will start taking symbols more seriously during Saturn and Pisces. So if you have like a devil statue in your house or something, you'll probably be seen as like a sadist or something, or a member of like a satanic cult as opposed to like an atheist. Okay, so that's just a random example that I feel in this energy is like, and the moral of that, what I'm trying to get through with that is like, make sure you're willing to support the symbolism that you front. Okay, people can do whatever they want, but I just think that it kind of skews identity sometimes, and people get like false ideas or false conventions about what somebody supports when they have a certain symbolism, but then in real life they like don't support it. So it's kind of like very much like the moon energy there. So I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say there. Week number 2, you have the King of Wands rooted down by the Star card. Beautiful. Okay, so things start to get way more authentic for you. You are really starting to find yourself, Capricorn. And maybe it's through symbolism, or maybe it's through any myriad of things. I think you're reclaiming something, and I'm almost feeling like scars that you've had are going to start healing. So it's almost like a refinement process or some kind of soul refinement happening where it's like, okay, I understand who I am now. I understand what I want to represent. I understand the symbolism of my life. And I'm kind of like matching all of this together, or I'm harmonizing or optimizing or calibrating the way that I represent who I am, but then also the truth of who I am. And it's not like it's not misaligned or misrepresented, and you start to basically get energetic harmony, and your aura starts to get better. The star is definitely about the aura, right? Like, it's one of the representations of nudity in the tarot, and it means that, we don't feel like we have to cover up. We don't have to hide things. We don't have to use exterior symbolism, perhaps, to convince other people of who we are. We have our own truth that exists in an authentic, organic way, and that's enough. King of Wands can be kind of the opposite, though. It's like the enjoyment of upholstery, or like what you wear on the outside and what that means about you. So it's kind of like combining these things together, like really just getting your body and yourself in an organic and true and potent place. And then also like new creativity. There's a world of new creative projects coming in for you all in the second week. And I think that that's a really wonderful area of focus for you. Okay, the third week, you have the King of Pentacles rooted down by the Queen of Pentacles. Beautiful. Maybe you're marrying another Capricorn. Comment below if you're marrying another Capricorn. There's some kind of like wedding, though, happening, maybe of your own masculine and feminine Capricorn side, where you're understanding the way that your nature works in both an exterior and interior way. I definitely see healthy diet, healthy finances. There's a comprehensive wellness, holistic wellness regime, I feel, that marries in your life or comes together. And this is a great progression from the first through the third week. And even to the fourth week, where, yes, you have the Lovers rooted down by the Six of Swords, and you know which way to go now. Okay, you know whether to go left or right. You know that all paths lead back to a certain specific momentum. You aren't afraid to change. You aren't afraid of where you are. You aren't afraid of what people think about you. You're comfortable in your own skin. I think that that's what's trying to happen for you, Capricorn. And Capricorn is actually the sign that is most naturally comfortable in their own skin. Most Capricorns don't give a you-know-what about what other people think about them. While the 10th house, which is the house that rules Capricorn, has a lot to say about reputation and status and, things like that, I find that Capricorn is not a sign who's very, concerned with keeping up with the Joneses or concerned with fronting someone else's doctrines, concepts, or ideas about what prosperity is. So I feel like you're getting even more comfortable in your own skin, but now that's combining also with your creative potential, or there's an elevation in your skin and almost like a refining or again, a healing of scars or a healing of something that you wanted to cover up before. Oh, that's interesting. Again, the King of Wands and the Star card. And then that comes up again in the 4th week where you're having to actually move forward, maybe with different ideas or different, totally different quantum reality because of not feeling like you have to hide or cover things up. So anyway, Capricorns, that's beautiful. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in your extended reading, which I will link below. I'll get a central theme, 2 supporting themes, and a significator card. And we'll talk more about getting more comfortable in your skin and also not being afraid of actually being who you are and moving forward in that way. So that'll be linked below. I hope you guys have a great month. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps. It's a great free way to support this channel, is just hitting the subscribe button, thumbs up, comment below. All of those are great free ways to support. Otherwise, I will see you over on Patreon for this extended. Let's do that now. Much love, Capricorns. Bye. Hi, Scorpios, and welcome to your April 2023 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about your month ahead. I hope you're all doing really well. I'm excited to be coming on and giving you a nice equinox reading for your month ahead, as usual, with intuitive messages followed by a week-to-week tarot forecast and an extended reading linked below on Patreon. If the reading resonates, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications to get alerted when this channel posts future content. Anyway, Scorpios, let's talk about you. Let's talk about April. Okay, first of all, I just want to tell you that May 2023 is a major sort of bullseye energy for you. There's a major sort of zing coming up there energetically that is going to be, I think, a turning point for you. So I'm not feeling that for April, but I am feeling that for May. So I think that's just good to know in thinking about April as well, leading up to possibly a turning point. And it feels very positive. So this turning point coming in May feels like, for many of you, a nice positive load off, a wonderful opportunity that you needed to give yourself. And it's probably going to generate at least a 3-month cycle of, for some of you, maybe even self-apology or healing through understanding how things were overdone, or through understanding some of the overkill that might have been in your life. But that's not quite here yet, but it's good to start moving that direction already. So for April, pulling this back to April a little bit, you're looking at some degree of basically wide range understanding of the full picture. So as you approach more of a catalyst point in May, you're going to face a big vista or a big picture of the way that everything is. So I think that it's a very valuable month for noting how things are in your life and for basically starting to rewire or reconsider, remap. Those are words coming up, basically anything with a re preceding it. So redo, rewire, remap. Reconsider, reset. Okay, a lot of things are basically resetting in your life, and you are kind of approaching a sort of timing, we have the nodal axis still with the south node in your sign and the north node in Taurus, and then by June or July, at sometime this summer, they're going to change into Aries and Libra. So you've got April, May, and at least some of June to really understand the way that things are moving forward and to really sort of consolidate focus or consolidate purpose inside. And I think that you don't have to worry at all about that concluding later this year, as I feel that it's going to be more of a relief, because I am feeling that kind of like a Nine of Swords experience for you. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, I have to figure out exactly how I'm moving forward. I have to figure out exactly how all of this continues or how it doesn't, and I have to, you know, figure everything in my life out. And I think that things will start to actually get easier, or you will just in sort of like a flurry of energy really solve everything quickly. So you have only 2 major arcana cards in your reading this month, the Magician and the Sun. So that's very active, right? It's been such a push of sacred masculine energies coming in this April for most of the readings. We've been having a lot of like the Emperor, a lot of the Chariot, a lot of the Sun, very strong fire energy. Of course, we are in your fellow Mars-ruled sign of Aries this month with a stellium of Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and Chiron in Aries, which is a quincunx to you, but it's familiar because you share the rulership of Mars with Aries, the traditional rulership. So I don't think that you just need to be like cool and collected. I don't think that you need to just be passive here. I really think that you have to actively pursue what you know you need. So if you have something that's damaged in your life, I think that you need to actively pursue healing that. If you have something that you're not happy with, I think that it has to become an active process of resolving that instead of just passively awaiting the change, and especially just stagnating in that Nine of Swords place. Like, I don't know what to do. I am trying to figure out the best way through. In some cases, Scorpio may just have to like step into action and allow their trust in the universe to actually mean something to them. Okay, rather, you know, sometimes being too strategic, sometimes being too in the mind with things denotes a lack of trust in support, or a lack of trust in higher power as well, and puts too much trust into the individual choice making, which becomes like Nine of Swords. So that I think is something that you're solving this month, and you may also have really positive experiences that shift you up for a pretty major turning point in May by being so positive. And it's like, no longer am I having to spend all this time in fear or shame or agony, and instead I am actually more confident, more optimistic, and more embracing the energy of love to basically increase the prosperity of my life tenfold. It's something like that. But let's talk about your week-to-week, Scorpio. In the first week of April, you have the Five of Swords rooted up by the Nine of Swords. So we have this last little push, okay, of very hyper-logical, hyper thought-oriented energy in the mind. I think this is ending after the first week of April, but you might have like a climax of it then, or you might choose to like just figure things out there, and like you might have been having this like sinking feeling, or this kind of like nagging context in your life that you say, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to it, whether I have to be up all night, whether I have to, you know, just burn the midnight oil to finally figure this out. I'm finally figuring it out. I do feel that for you with this Jupiter Chiron conjunction we've had in Aries. It's very much like, I'm done guessing. I'm done feeling nervous about this. I'm done feeling like unsure, and I'm just going to face this. So there's something you might have to face in the first week of April, and it might not be super comfortable. But by doing it, I think that you walk out of a long cycle of misery, okay, and into a much more giving, healthy, potentially healthy time period. Also, I think people could be taking advantage of you. Okay, Five of Swords. You might be like thinking about how to please people, or you might only be thinking about, for example, your customers' wants and like not your own well-being, or you might only be thinking about your family or your significant other, and like that puts you in a very drained place. So try to change that up and prioritize your well-being a little bit more, especially regarding anything that has like you feeling damaged, or you feeling like you're at your wit's end, or you feeling unsure or painful. Try to change that narrative now with your own capacity, and watch how you're supported doing it, okay? And then there's going to be, before we get into the second week, there's going to be a major, probably turning point in May that revolves around, oh my gosh, I was actually way more supported than I ever realized, and I never had to put myself through that. And there's that kind of thing coming up for Scorpio this year, which can be very healing. Second week of April, you have the Magician rooted down by the Ace of Pentacles. Beautiful. That's kind of like that, what I was just talking about as well. It's like, I understand that I have a sort of diversified sense of well-being. You know, the pentacles, the cups, the swords, and the wands all coming together. Everything's on the table, and it's well proportioned. Try to proportion your life in an equal way. Sometimes Scorpio can be polarized or extreme and like invest everything in one thing or put all of their energy into one pointy thing. And I think that you're called during this time and also receiving more from the universe by mixing it up a little bit. And maybe by having like multiple pursuits or having different projects or having different sources of income or well-being in your life that will end up giving you more. And I feel like once you kind of readjust, this is very Pluto and Aquarius, right? Pluto is your ruling planet, right? It's a changed sign. And this is the first full month of having your ruling planet having changed signs. And it's in the sign of Aquarius, which is all about what I was just mentioning, like transferring things, kind of like switching, putting things in different places, like transferring wealth from one place to another, or investing your energy into different places, energy changing from one canister to another. And that feels very giving. Okay, so I feel that you receive a lot through that, and that's very supported for you this month with that combination. It's a great combination. It's also a great combination for bonuses, promotions, career elevation as well. Also, the prospect of taking something to the next level, like the next degree up.
I'm sorry, y'all. I got to end this because I got to take a very important phone call to take care of some business. Hello? Yes. Hello? Yes, hold on just a second. Yeah, I'm here.